Blessings, everyone. What you have in gay affirmative Catholic ministries, and also this rhetoric is being taught in gay affirmative Catholic parishes, it's the notion or the theory of integration, that those with same-sex attraction, those people who are homosexual or gay, need to integrate their sexuality in order, and this is the bizarre part, in order for one day to perhaps embrace chastity. You'll see this theory being espoused in the Archdiocese of Los Angeles in their LGBT ministry, and let's take a look at what they have to say.
The Catechism defines chastity as the integration of sexuality within the person. Chastity is the integration of sexuality within the person. Chastity is not about not having sex. Chastity basically is about making sure that any sexual act that happens in our lives is with our whole being, our emotions, our thoughts, our plans for the future. You may not agree with it, but the point is this: to people who are in a same-sex relationship, they are not going against God. They are not sinning. In fact, they are doing the opposite. They are honoring that chastity. They are honoring that integration of their sexuality with every other aspect of themselves, their emotions, their plans for the future. When they are with a person of the same sex, simply because they are wired to have this romantic connection with people of the same sex, at best, I would say that this is a highly ambiguous and confusing statement. If the church hierarchy wants to witness the Spirit alive in LGBT people, it needs to listen to our stories of finding new life and deeper relationship with God as we strive to integrate our faith and sexuality. Until they all listen, they cannot hear the voice of God speaking through us, and their words will lack true respect, compassion, and sensitivity. This is yet another statement from a leader and member of the Catholic Ministry for Lesbian and Gay Persons, which functions within the Archdiocese of Los Angeles.
You will also see this pastoral approach, if you want to call it that, in the Diocese of San Jose, California.
This is a directive given to priests in the Diocese of San Jose in regards to their pastoral ministry with those who have same-sex attraction. And it says, "Do not presume any particular social or psychological analysis of sexuality in our society, except for a generally accepted premise that individuals do not choose and cannot change their sexual orientation, but must understand it and integrate it into their life of faith and conscience."
You also see it in the dissident Catholic gay apostolate of dignity.
Speaking about the presence of Catholic LGBT ministries within the Archdiocese of San Francisco, a spokesperson from Dignity had this to say: "Currently, there are fairly healthy environments available for people to integrate their identity and their faith, including many welcoming parishes and other church organizations."
This theory is really a misreading of the Catechism of the Catholic Church. And here's what the Catechism talks about chastity and integration.
Chastity means the successful integration of sexuality within the person and thus the inner unity of man in his bodily and spiritual being. Sexuality in which man's belonging to the bodily and biological world is expressed becomes personal and truly human when it is integrated into the relationship of one person to another in the complete and lifelong mutual gift of a man and a woman. Within the 3 paragraphs of the Catechism referring to homosexuality, no mention is made of integration. In psychological terms, integration is the organization of various traits, feelings, attitudes into one harmonious personality. What the Catechism proposes is a virtue of self-mastery in order to gain inner freedom from homosexuality. Integration makes homosexuality an indelible part of who you are. The other is a much more humble acceptance that this is not part of you, but is indeed a disorder.
So what you have here is nowhere in the Catechism where they talk about integration with regards to same-sex attraction or homosexuality. Here it's clearly stating that you have the complementary of man and woman. This has nothing to do with homosexuality, which the activity and the inclination both are considered disorders. So you are not going to be integrating a disorder in order to be a healthy person, in order to be a chaste person. Sadly, a lot of it really proves that bad theology is very difficult to get rid of. It's harder to kill than a vampire. This theory of integration, I won't say it started, but a lot of these LGBT affirming Catholic ministries go back to the USCCB statement, "Always our children." And here's what they had to say.
Chastity means integrating one's thoughts, feelings, and actions in the area of human sexuality in a way that values and respects one's own dignity and that of others. Taking integration from the Catechism and then placing it in a gay context has caused some in Catholic LGBT ministries to base their entire theology on what is a clear misinterpretation. But some have gone even further and create dogma out of a single remark from Pope Francis.
And here is what Bishop Bruskowitz had to say about "Always our children."
Calamity and frightening disaster are terms which are not too excessive to describe this document. It is my view that this document carries no weight or authority for Catholics, whom I would advise to ignore or oppose it.
You can see now where a lot of this confusion began. And really, they're doing the opposite of what you need to do. This is an indoctrination, is what they're doing. Because they're taking, let's say, someone that is conflicted about their sexuality. They're confirming the homosexuality, and they are saying that in order even to be chaste, you have to integrate your homosexualdy with your person, with your personality, with your being, with your spirituality. This is really the opposite of what you want to do. If you are integrating, you are locking in the disorder. Is that something you want to do? No. This is not what you want to do. Because it becomes entrenched, it becomes deep, it becomes entrenched, it becomes dug in. What really you need to do, what ministries need to do, is really it's a disentanglement. It's an unintegration, because most gay men and women, through the process of coming out, this is where the homosexuality or the sexuality, the orientation is integrated. This has already taken place. In order to embrace chastity, and this is where a lot of people get into trouble, because they want to maintain themselves as gay Catholics, but they want to embrace chastity. It's much, and I went through this, so I know, it's much more difficult if you're holding on to the orientation and saying, well, this is how I feel, these are my desires, this is something born in me, it's innate, it's a trait. You become almost a slave to it, and you're always combating it. When you sort of deintegrate the orientation and the sexuality and the desires are no longer a part of who you are. And this is a long process of examination where you try to discover how, why, when these desires came about. And then a healing process can begin. Not necessarily those feelings will be, disappear forever, but you understand them, and you understand the psychological reasons and what certain, stresses or pressures or feelings bring them about and make it difficult to deal with them. Therefore, when these people are calling, when these ministries are calling for an integration, what they are doing is locking people in. And this is what you don't want to do. You want to set people free. And the Catechism states this: we are not homosexual, we are not heterosexual. You don't want to identify and become, you don't want that to be who you are. You need to be a child of God. That's who you are, completely separate from all of that. Especially when it's a disorder. You cannot take theology or a certain pastoral approach that is designed for heterosexuals, for the complementary of male and female, and pick that up and transpose it to the homosexual realm, which is exactly what they were doing. Because there is not something here that can be redeemed. And I don't mean to say that in a condemning way, but I'm saying that as disordered and goofy and sick and perverted as heterosexuals can get, because they certainly can, just like everyone. There's something that can be redeemed there within the complementary of male and female and within marriage. And that is not a possibility with homosexuality, because the activity is disordered. And certainly, again, there are heterosexual activities that are disordered. But the difference is the heterosexual orientation is not disordered. It can be disordered, but it is not inherently disordered. The homosexual orientation is disordered. It always will be. Okay? I'm not condemning and saying that someone with that inclination cannot be a very holy person, because they can be. But within the disorder, you can't do that because it is a disorder. So you cannot integrate a disorder. You cannot bond yourself with the disorder. There has to be a pulling apart of yourself from, let's say this is the gay and this is me. It has to be, you have to separate yourself from that, and then the person can be healthy. I can be healthy. You can be healthy. We can all be healthy. Okay? God bless you all.